When you see a crime boss, you see a gun. The gun is the final argument. The truth is simpler. The gun is a failure. It is an amateur's tool in a world that demands a surgeon's precision. While his son Michael would rule with the cold logic of force, Vito Corleone controlled his world with a mechanism far more sophisticated. His power was not in action, but in calculated inaction. He did not threaten, he did not demand. He built an empire not on violence, but on an architecture of manufactured gratitude. Welcome to Black Ledger. Today, we dissect the 3 psychological masterpieces Vito Corleone used to create loyalty before a man even knew he was in debt. He did not create a crime family. He created a web of obligations so total a gun was an afterthought. The Reciprocity Engine. The mechanism begins in a dark room with a desperate man, Amerigo Bonacera.
I believe in America.
He believed in the system. The system failed him. He comes to Vito Corleone for murder and offers money. This is the critical juncture. A lesser boss sees a transaction. Vito sees an asset. He turns his back, an act of calculated insult.
What have I ever done to make you treat me so disrespectfully?
He asks. He scolds Bonacera not for the request, but for its transactional nature. He rejects the money. He is not selling a service. He is building a relationship. When Bonacera finally calls him
Godfather,
the deal is sealed. Vito promises justice but frames it as a gift. Then, the masterstroke.
Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me.
This is not kindness. This is the first law of Corleone's power, the creation of an unpayable debt. What Vito executes is a textbook application of the principle of reciprocity. The rule is simple. Humans are hardwired to repay what they receive. In society, it's a social glue. In the hands of a strategist, it is a chain. By refusing money, Vito elevates the transaction beyond the quantifiable. A business deal can be concluded. A monetary debt can be repaid. But a gift of a man's honor? That debt is emotional. It is a permanent psychological imbalance. Bonacera can never be square with Vito. He is now, forever, a node in the Don's network. This is the reciprocity trap. Vito creates an obligation that only he can forgive. He doesn't need a threat. The weight of that manufactured gratitude is stronger than any contract. Vito applies this principle across his territory. Helping a widow, saving a man's job, these are not acts of charity. They are strategic investments. Each favor is a ripple of indebtedness, expanding his influence without a single shot fired. This mechanism is visible on the world stage. Nations extend massive loans to smaller countries for infrastructure. When the debt becomes unpayable, the lender seizes the asset. A generous loan becomes a 99-year lease. This is the Corleone method, executed on a geopolitical scale. An offer of help that creates an unpayable debt, turning gratitude into leverage. Money is temporary. Loyalty built on manufactured gratitude is permanent. Vito is not a crime boss. He is a social psychologist who understands that a man's honor, once pledged, is a far stronger chain than any pair of handcuffs. The strategy of understated power. Vito's second masterpiece was the weaponization of his own demeanor. In a world of explosive force, Vito's power was his quiet. His soft, raspy voice and patient stillness were not weakness. They were tactical assets. The contrast is his son, Sonny. Sonny is a hurricane of emotion, loud, impulsive, predictable. He rules through overt intimidation. His emotional outburst during the Solozzo meeting reveals interest, undermines his father, and signs his own death warrant. Emotion makes you readable, and if you can be read, you can be killed. Vito is the opposite. Never get angry, he teaches. Never make a threat. Reason with people. His calm is a strategic illusion. It projects reasonableness, disarming opponents and making them underestimate the ruthlessness beneath.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Is delivered not with anger, but with the cold certainty of a natural law. This understated power makes the implied violence terrifying. The mechanism here is authority. The Milgram experiments proved it. Subjects comply with a calm, firm authority figure far more readily than a frantic one. Vito's low, steady tone signals unshakable control. It is a psychological cue that manufactures compliance. This strategy culminates in the meeting of the 5 families after Sonny's death. This is Vito's moment of absolute weakness. His heir is dead. He is wounded. His family is in disarray. The room expects rage and vengeance. He knows this. He appears conciliatory, defeated. He renounces vengeance. He promises peace.
But I'm a superstitious man. And if some unlucky accident should befall him, then I'm going to blame some of the people in this room. And that I do not forgive.
On the surface, he is surrendering. Beneath it, he is setting a trap. By feigning weakness, he is gathering information. Who is relieved? Who is still tense? His apparent surrender forces his true enemy to reveal himself. In that room, by observing who was most eager for his truce, he identifies Don Barzini. He turns a funeral into a reconnaissance mission. He uses his own grief as a smokescreen. Sonny would have stormed in demanding blood and been destroyed. Vito sits quietly, absorbs the loss, and turns it into the strategic victory that secures his family's future. He weaponized reason. The architecture of moral framing. Vito's third and most defining weapon was his obsession with the long game. In a world of short-term profit, Vito thought in decades. He was not building a business. He was building a dynasty. This is proven in the meeting with Sollozzo. The narcotics business offers millions. From a purely financial analysis, refusing is illogical. Sonny sees the profit, but Vito sees the system. He understands drugs are a dirty business. He knows it will destroy the ecosystem of political protection he has spent a lifetime building. The judges and politicians in his pocket will tolerate gambling. They will not tolerate narcotics. Drugs attract federal attention. They erode the illusion of moral high ground. Vito sacrifices immense short-term profit for long-term stability. He is playing chess while the others play checkers. Vito's long-term vision is fused with his ultimate tool of control, moral framing. Vito Corleone does not see himself as a criminal. He does not allow anyone in his world to frame him that way. He is a community leader, a protector, a godfather. This is not semantics. It is a profound psychological manipulation. His organization is not a gang, it is a family. By framing every action through the lens of family, he recasts loyalty as a sacred duty. Betrayal is not a business disagreement, it is a moral sin. When he scolds Sonny for his outburst, he frames it as a personal, familial failing.
Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
This reinforces his own authority as the patriarch and binds everyone to his moral code. This creates a state of cognitive dissonance in his men. They participate in criminal acts, yet they are told they are part of an honorable family. To resolve this conflict, they must adopt Vito's frame. They aren't extorting a business, they're settling a family matter. We see this mechanism in modern corporate culture. A company that demands extreme sacrifice frames the workplace as a family. It is a tactic to extract more value by appealing to a higher sense of belonging. To question the company becomes a betrayal of the family. This was Vito's true empire. Not olive oil or gambling. It was a shared reality that he constructed, a world where he was the sole arbiter of morality. He built a legacy. Michael, who embraced every business Vito shunned, would only build a portfolio. So how did Vito Corleone control everyone without a gun? He understood that true power does not come from the barrel of a gun. It comes from controlling the human psyche. He mastered 3 dark arts of influence that made violence a last resort, not a first principle. First, he used the Reciprocity Engine, creating unpayable psychological debts that chained men to him with their own honor. Second, he wielded the strategy of understated power, a calm mask that disarmed his enemies and made his ruthlessness more effective. And third, he governed with an architecture of moral framing, sacrificing short-term profit to build a dynasty founded on the ideology of family. Vito's reign was psychological warfare. He didn't just make offers people couldn't refuse. He created a world where they were indebted to him, calmed by him, and morally bound to him long before the offer was on the table. Michael's power was a cold, hard object he wielded like a weapon. Vito's power was the atmosphere everyone was forced to breathe. One is the power of a king. The other is the power of a god. Don't mistake a man who uses force for a man who has power. The former is a soldier. The latter is a don. Remember, every move has a cost.